D-MEDIS is now underway at the PMH Accident and Emergency Department. Dominica and Brazil strengthen ties with technical cooperation agreements. The Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela celebrates 203 years of independence and freedom. Thank you for joining us for another edition of National Focus. I'm Kerdisha St. Louis. And
I'm Mervin Matthews. Stay first with details of the headline stories and others after this.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Thanks for staying with us. Even more steps are being taken for Dominica's development through its foreign policy. On Monday, the governments of Dominica and the Federative Republic of Brazil signed two cooperation agreements. First, an agreement which was initially proposed at a Brazil-CARICOM summit in April 2010 was signed by the Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Alvin Bernard, and Brazilian Ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Jose Marcos Biena. The ambassador noted that it is an umbrella agreement.
We are going to open our bilateral cooperation not only to water resources but to agriculture and other things that Mr. Prime Minister would like to have included. With this bigger umbrella agreement, we can put many things inside. Any other type of cooperation that Dominica would like to have from Brazil.
Honorable Bernard said a thank you to the government of Brazil for the opportunity to advance cooperation between the two countries.
The government of Dominica and Brazil have had bilateral relations since 1986. But really it took the intervention of the government of Dominica to really advance this cooperation and accelerate cooperation between our two countries. And therefore, in 2010, we saw the establishment of the Brazilian Embassy in Dominica, giving life to the cooperation between our two countries.
A U.S. $100,000 agreement was also signed between the Brazilian Water Agency and DOASCO for cooperation in water resource development.
We signed an agreement on water resource management in September 2013, and the government of Brazil has proposed a water resource management program where we will have representatives from DOASCO visiting Brazil, and we will also have representatives from the water resource company in Brazil visiting Dominica. They will be looking at soil management, water resource management, sanitation, and hydrological monitoring systems.
Honorable Reginald Austria is Minister for Water Resource Development.
And although Dominica is well ahead of many other countries with the laudable goal of providing water to all by 2015, we would like to take every precaution to do so under the most environmentally sound practices in order to preserve the resource for future generations. For this reason, we spare no effort at implementing plans and programs aimed at sustainable water resource management at all levels and involving every single Dominican. With this memorandum of understanding, between the government of the Federative Republic of Brazil and the government of Dominica for technical cooperation in water resource management. We are signing this today, which clearly demonstrates our commitment to the above stated objective. This MOU is as a result of the initiative of the Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit in making Dominica the first island in the Caribbean to receive this kind of technical cooperation with Brazil.
According to Honorable Austri, Monday's signing formalized the first of the 3-year agreement term. He went into further detail.
The primary objective of this cooperation agreement is to develop and strengthen technical relations and strengthen ties of friendship and fraternity between our countries. In this regard, the experience of Brazilian Water Agency in water resource management will contribute towards the strengthening of our water resource management capabilities in Dominica through knowledge transfer and implementation of best practices. The duration of this technical cooperation agreement is for 3 years. The initiative seeks to encourage proper management and sustainable use of water resource in the following areas: development of activities and capacity building of Dominican experts in water and sanitation, professional training in water and sanitation, monitoring, maintenance, and installation of hydrometric stations, management of water and electricity loss in water systems, development of water distribution plants, water quality control and distribution networks, the preservation and conservation of water catchment, and reducing erosion and siltation of the waterways and our rivers.
With the completion of the Bell's water supply system, Dominica will realize the achievement of Millennium Development Goal number 7. Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit stated that Dominica looks forward to Brazil's expertise in water resource management, especially as it relates to gravity flow. Honorable Skerrit told the meeting that Brazil has been a good friend to Dominica.
We have very strong relations with Brazil. Brazil being the 5th largest economy in the world, a member of the advanced group of economies, and Brazil has always been at the forefront of advancing the concerns of small island states like ours. We do not sit in the G8, we do not sit in the G20, but we have always been able to count on President Lula and count on President Rousseff to speak to the issues which we have concerns about. And at every stage, every step of the discussions, Brazil has remained true to CARICOM, true to Dominica's request to speak on our behalf in those very important international financial institutions. We've also seen in recent years the strengthening of the bilateral relations between Dominica and Brazil. And we enjoy fraternal relations, and we share many issues on a global scale, whether at the UN, whether at the FAO, the Food and Agricultural Organization, whether it is in our case here, bilateral relations with regards to water resource management.
The nation's leader said further that the signed agreements represent the framework of relationship between Dominica and Brazil. Visa waiver agreements have also been signed with the Federative Republic of Brazil. Ambassador Biena is the first Brazilian ambassador to Dominica.
On Saturday, government officials, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and representatives of the Venezuelan Army Corps of Engineers joined the Venezuelan community in Dominica in celebration of its 203rd anniversary. Every year, reefs are laid at the foot of the Simon Bolivar Monument in goodwill to mark the celebration. GIS News now brings you a few remarks by the Bolivarian ambassador to Dominica, His Excellency Hayden Pirela Sanchez.
Every year, this date should be celebrated by every country of the world. It's a date that we must never forget. I want to express the meaning of the word independence. Simple, to not be subject to the authority of another. You can read and hear that its meaning is easy, but there are costs, fighting, and fatality. The independence is the most precious treasure that country could have. Unity, labor, and peace should always be present.
The Honorable Acting Prime Minister Reginald Austri pledged Dominica's devotion to the government and people of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
On the occasion of your 203rd anniversary of independence of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, today, July 5th, 2014, I pledge the eternal friendship and solidarity of the Dominican Labour Party, the government, and the people of Dominica to our proud brothers of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. We salute your 203rd birthday and the full sovereignty of your independence from Spanish bondage. We acknowledge the historic struggle for dignity and sovereignty waged by Simon Bolivar, the great liberator. We honor the eternal commander of the Bolivarian Revolution, the great patriot, the great friend of Dominica, Hugo Chavez. And we pledge Dominica's continued steadfast support to Venezuela and President Maduro, the duly elected president of Venezuela.
On July 5, 1811, the Republic of Venezuela celebrated its independence from Spain with the signing of the Declaration of Independence of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
Health is everybody's business. This slogan was reiterated several times at a national consultation to discuss a strategy for universal health coverage. The consultation held on the 4th of July at the Ministry of Health's conference room was hosted to explore the various capacities in which universal health coverage can be facilitated in Dominica. In her address, PAHO representative Shirley Augustine revealed the primary purpose of universal health coverage.
Universal health coverage is to ensure that all people have access to needed services. And when we speak of needed services, we are looking at all kinds of services: prevention, promotion, curative, rehabilitation, and palliative care, with sufficient quality to be effective. So not because everybody has a right to health that the quality must be compromised.
She also noted that universal health coverage encourages community commitment and strengthens the need to implement necessary policies.
Universal health coverage reinforces the need to define and implement policies and interventions in an intersectoral approach to act on the social determinants of health and to foster the commitment of a society as a whole. As we go on, you will hear us use the whole of society approach in order to promote health and well-being, placing emphasis on groups in conditions of poverty and vulnerability.
The PAHO country representative explained that adequate health measures should be made available to ensure that people live longer lives.
People are living much longer, and because of that, the health needs will change, because chronic non-communicable diseases and mental health will put pressure on the health systems with escalating costs that could jeopardize sustainability and systems outcome. That is why we have to look at new strategies. Or people are living longer and chronic non-communicable diseases do not cure. So that means we have people living longer with chronic diseases. So that is going to take a big bite out of the health budget. So we have to prepare for that.
Health Minister Honorable Julius Timothy pledged government's unconditional support to the Universal Health Coverage Initiative.
The government of Dominica embraces the concept of universal health coverage as it has a direct impact on the health of the population. Access to health services enables people to be more productive and active contributors to their families and their communities. It also ensures that children can go to school and learn.
GIS News will bring you more on that conference in a subsequent newscast.
In more news, on Monday, July 7, the Ministry of Health has executed a pilot program designed to computerize patients' information. Patients at the Grand Bay Health Center and the Princess Margaret Hospital's Accident and Emergency Department are the first to try out this new initiative, the Dominica Medical Information System, or D-MEDIS. Hospital Services Coordinator Clayton Bryan spoke to the local media on Friday.
This electronic medical record system has been nicknamed D-MEDIS, which is Dominica Medical Information System. We have a computer at the Accident and Emergency Department, and as patients come into the department, they'll be registered on the computer. There are new forms, the new forms which have been developed and improved so that we can be able to capture as much information as needed for the health information system. Now, while this information is being input electronically by one of our employees, we will also have this paper-based system temporarily. This means that the doctors and the nurses will be putting information onto the paper, onto the forms, and then these forms will be scanned into the computers by the medical records personnel.
The Medical Records Department will then compile this data into electronic files. The computerization of patients' files will mean, among other things, faster file retrieval.
Sometimes we have a long time. Sometimes it's taken so that persons can be able, or the medical record staff can be able to retrieve medical records, because they have to physically go into the storage area and search for these medical records. Sometimes medical records are not found for a long period of time. So with this new system, it will be available electronically, and at any point throughout the island, once the individual has access, the appropriate access, then those medical records can be retrieved and information can be retrieved so that they can be able to facilitate quality patient care.
The plan is the widespread installation of D-MEDIS following the successful piloting at the 2 healthcare centers.
Ultimately, every health center, every department within the hospital, every ward will have computers, and every employee, every doctor, every nurse, the information that will be receiving will be put into computers, will be input into the computers, and this will be able to allow us to improve the quality of care that we provide to the entire populace.
The Health Information Unit at the Princess Margaret Hospital will manage the system, and the information will be stored at the island's main medical facility. While the program is being run at the Accident and Emergency Department and the Granby Health Center, administrators are soliciting the public's understanding.
Because of the fact that it's a new system, with all new systems, there's some teething issues and there may be some delays. So we're asking the general public to just be a little patient. If you experience some delay, which may be minor, we're just asking you to be cooperative and just understand that it's a new system, and we hopefully will be able to pass through all the teething problems, and all the nurses, all the doctors, all the employees will be able to fast-track the information and have the information onto the computers. So we are hoping that this system, this process, will be a short one in terms of the delays that will be experienced by the various members of the public.
D-MEDIS will be tested for the next 3 months before it is evaluated by health administrators and then piloted at the patient wards of the Princess Margaret Hospital.
The Dominica Broadcasting Corporation, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and Quartz Dominica Limited, held the finals of the National Reading Competition on Friday, July 4, 2014. The motto, "Read Today for Tomorrow," held true as the 10 finalists took to the stage to showcase their hard work and love for reading. The Global Environment Facilities Small Grant Project also sponsored the event, and Delia Coffee Weeks, a member of the GEF National Steering Committee, spoke on their behalf.
And so yes, while we focus on reading and making reading fun, we also tried to make it relevant so that the children are learning, and not just reading for reading's sake, but reading things that will impact their lives now and later on. And so GEF Small Grants is very happy to partner with DBS in this worthwhile venture.
Honorable Minister for Information Ambrose George expressed gratitude to sponsors, particularly DBS, for granting students the opportunity to demonstrate their reading skills.
I want to commend the sponsors, the GEF and Quartz, the Ministry of Education, and of course DBS for their role in ensuring that over the years we've had this competition, and to do it in a manner to demonstrate not only for the students to compete among themselves, but to demonstrate to the country at large the importance of reading.
Honorable Peter Seja, Minister for Education, revealed that the Ministry of Education aims to provide early intervention methods to combat reading difficulties at education institutions.
Within the Ministry of Education, we will continue to provide suitable early intervention strategies for students who are falling behind, because we recognize that there is a small number of students who have significant reading difficulties, and it is incumbent on us as a ministry to put strategies in place to ensure that we deal with those challenges and that the schools are adequately prepared to turn out the kind of readers that we anticipate that we should have. We will pay particular attention, of course, to our male population, because we must admit that the reading level appears to be much higher among the girls than among our boys. And I'm elated this afternoon to see again that we have a few boys representing some of our schools here.
Jared Jaja captured the first place position, while Louise Aarons of the Pioneer Preparatory and Anessa Laurent of the Lighthouse Christian Academy came in second and third place respectively. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Louis is next with the Creole highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Louis. Premièrement, Dominique et puis Brazil, c'est un arrangement qui concerne le management des ressources de l'eau en Dominique. Ministère management de l'eau, Honorable Reginald Austrie, c'est à ce compte gouvernement pendant l'ambassadeur Brazil, His Excellency José Marcos Viana, c'est à ce compte pays.
Jour en jour, nous avons comme si les valeurs de l'eau là, nous avons à ce live là, et a baissé. Et plus en plus, nous avons pour dépenser plus d'argent pour nous mener de l'eau à Casmon. Parce que quand ces communautés là qui viennent plus loin, une communauté neuf, et nous avons bailler de l'eau. Et qu'on savent, la majorité du monde Dominica qui est dans la montagne là, et pour mener de l'eau là, montagne là, il y a un prix pour payer. Comme ça, nous avons dit, nous obligés de commencer à garder compte comment nous avons manager l'eau Dominique. Pour nous faire certain que débuter, nous avons fait l'eau là plus bon marché pour Dominicains. Et plus important, nous avons pour conserver l'eau pour la génération qui va venir. Et bien ça, nous avons gardé pour assistance, pour cooperation agreement avec pays qui ont expérience avec l'eau. Comme ça, l'année passée, nous finissons un agreement avec Colombia. Nous tenions un agreement avec Colombia. Là, nous apprenons autant audio, comment nous manager avec l'eau. Et bien, à présent, aujourd'hui, nous avons un agreement avec Brazil. Parce que le Brésil a low experience avec l'eau. Et bien, nous avons autant de Brésil, ça montre nous. Et bien, nous apprenons au Brésil pour faire certain que nous avons gardé comme ça avec l'eau.
Alors, nouvelle, gouvernement Dominique prend décision où la résidence Silver Lake qui est appelée l'occasion Kai Apartment, il n'y a pas ni à payer pour lui. Même Parlement Honorable Ambrose George visité le projet la semaine passée.
Nous avons croisé terre pour commencement construction bâti apartment building ça. Premier ministre a dit ces monde là qui le gouvernement qui a baillé occasion là. Yo pas qu'ni pour payer pour ces appartements-là, mais responsabilité c'est pour maintain, pour sentir qui yo point garde, yo safeguard, yo sentir qui place là où était net, planter fleurs, faire place là appreciative avec c'est ça gouvernement premier ministre là t'a dit avec nous chébé à sous décision ça parole ça premier ministre c'est mon là yo montré yo pas qu'une pièce rent yo pas qu'une pièce l'argent pour payer pour ces appartements là.
En autre nouvelle, gouvernement Jamaïque a un support pour Dominique qu'on pays à passer législation pour quitter Privy Council l'Angleterre et puis brancher en bas Caribbean Court of Justice. Parlement Dominique d'accord pour faire bagaille qui méritait pour changer la constitution là et puis adopter Caribbean Court of Justice. Premier ministre Jean-Maïque Poche Simpson Miller fait parole qui décision Dominique Kamoutoué comment pays a bien indépendant et puis action Dominique c'est yon qui bien doit. Premier ministre Simpson Miller aussi fait parole qui amendement constitutionnel c'était un vote confiance pays à ni en CARICOM et puis habilité régionale travail à si bataille à l'égalité. Premier ministre a dit Dominique a montré un bon exemple pour d'autres pays Caraïbes suivent. En même temps aussi, Premier ministre Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt fait parole qui Dominique couille pour tenir un bon standard pour gouverner et puis pays qui continue à se chimer ça. Et puis finalement, organisation par où Kawan si pour concerner Universal Health Coverage, ça c'est bon standard santé pour tout le monde. Parole ça là sorti god officier par en Dominique Shirley Augustine pour la consultation bon santé pour tout le monde qui te tient en Dominique vendredi qui passé.
Santé c'est un droit. On doit tout le monde supposer ni droit ça là nous ca créer right to health, droit pour ni santé avec bon santé. Ça c'est pour tout le monde. Là nous parler contre equity. Equity cela veut dire si tout le monde supposé trouver pas yo. Si moi besoin autant, moi supposé trouver autant. Peut-être moi pas ni l'argent pour moi payer, mais moi toujours malade. Ça veut dire moi besoin plus service parce que l'autre monde qui ni l'argent là, mais pas qu'à tomber malade. Ça c'est ça equity cadre. Equity c'est pas nous tout trouver même mise. Non, moi trouver ça moi besoin. Peut-être ça moi besoin plus qui ça besoin. Mais ça c'est pas moi. Et là nous parler contre solidarity. Ça veut dire nous tous ca venir ensemble. Moi ca aider ou. Moi ca payer mais moi ca tomber malade.
Messieurs mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole pour à présent. Non moins c'est McPherson. Au revoir.
Coming up next, why oversleeping may be bad for your health.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is two courts in one? The CCJ has two functions, an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
You asked for it. See more evidence of development right here on the Government Information Service.
It's true that a good night's sleep is essential for health, but oversleeping has been linked to a host of medical problems, including diabetes, heart disease, and increased risk of death. Experts typically recommend that adults should sleep between 7 and 9 hours each night. If you average more than 7 or 8 hours of sleep per night, see a doctor for a checkup. The doctor can help you determine why you oversleep.
Regardless of the cause of your oversleeping, practicing good sleep hygiene will help you reap the benefits of a healthy 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night. Experts recommend keeping the same bed times and wake times every day. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website at news.gov.dm.
Friend us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire news production team, I'm Kerdisha.
And I'm Mervin. Thank you for watching.